everyone, how are we doing? I went over to this screen. Let's go over to this screen. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. How's everyone doing? It's the start of office hours. If you're here and you got questions, let us know. Let me rearrange. I think the office hours link has, or the videos. Let me go to the YouTube channel. I wish it put new videos at the start. Start. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. If you're here and you have questions, let us know. Start to on UTK. One person's watching. Is it me? Am I the only person? Let me go. It's got past live streams. Says currently live right there. 2 people watching. Has anyone said anything in the chat yet? Let's wake up Mubot so people can get points. Mubot, wake up. Let's go to playlists. Oh, I need to let me rearrange the channel. No, past live streams might be good because then it shows the past live streams and the currently live, and I think it shows the upcoming. So good stuff right there. Mubot is awake. Mubot, I can't even talk. If you're in the chat, say hi. We're taking questions right now. It's just start of office hours. So if you have questions, let us know. Is anyone working on anything? Are we live on YouTube? Playlists. So customized channel. Let me look at how the channel is organized right now. Let's see here. Featured section, upcoming live stream, good. And then let me change. Add a section, single playlist, office hours. There it is right there. Let me move it up in the channel. We're doing a little channel organization right now for office hours. And I wish it would put the videos. There's the office hours, publish. Has anyone said anything yet? Hey, Shiana, good to see you here. Which one do you want to work on? Shuna, which one do you want to work on? We can work on any of those if you like. I'm doing a little channel organization right now. Let me know which one you're working on, and we can do that. Let me put this up here. I am organizing and fixing things. Coding in R week 1. There we go, right there. It's now organized. Good to go. 38 views updated today. Chapter 1. Which one do you want to work on in Chapter 1? Just name the problem. If you are working on a problem, we'll do some Chapter 1 quiz right here. That's due tonight, isn't it? Ooh, good stuff due tonight. We're going to go over here. Let's put on a little music while we're doing this. I should put all my music on like one thing. Well, that might not be a bad idea. Maybe I'll use the second one for like music. I might do that later tonight. Reorganize my stuff. Just make it a music button. I'm loading up the My Pearson as we're talking. Just name a question and we can do it. If you say like the question starts with a certain thing, let me know. Chapter 1's got some confusing stuff, but you get 5 attempts to get that 100, and we can work any problem here during office hours. We'll explain the theory behind it. I'm getting the instructor tools up right now. I want to throw you 500 points just for being here, though. So thank you for just being here, hanging out. Number 1, what does your number 1 say? My questions will be different than yours. Like, just type the very start of the question, like a pharmaceutical company or like some researcher is looking into this. If you type the start of the question, I can find it. The questions will be different from me. Like everyone, when people do it, the questions are different. So if you type the start of the question, I'll be able to tell you what it is. The homeworks are always the same, but the quizzes dynamically change every time you do them. So you get different quiz questions. So if you type the start of it, I'm getting the quiz up going right here. Start of the question, and we will knock that question out. Facebook uploads more than 350 photos. Cool. It's like gonna be the who, the where, the what. Let's find that Facebook question right here, and then we'll go do it. So you get to confirm some answers right here. We love that. Here we go. This is gonna be, and then if you have another question, let us know right after this. So Stat Tool 1, Quiz 1, Facebook uploads. Let's go check it out. Here we go. Thank you so much, Shiana, right there for asking this question right here. Facebook uploads more than 350 photos every day to its servers. For the selection, describe the who and the what. Now, the who is going to be who are they collecting on. So let's see, who are they collecting on? The who is the servers. No, they're not collecting on the servers. The who is the photos. That makes a little bit of sense. The who is Facebook. It's not the who. The who is what are they sampling? So the who is Facebook users. What is the total? Yeah, it's gonna be this one right here. They're collecting. What are they collecting? The what are they collecting is the what. So who is what are they? Who are they collecting? What are they collecting about them right there? Boom, we got it. Love it. Another question. Let me know another question right there. But who stands for who are they sampling? What is what they want to learn about them? So I prefer to say who did we sample. I don't like saying the who. It just makes more sense to say who did we sample? What did we learn about them? So that's what it's getting at right there. Who did we sample? What did we want to learn about them? The who we sampled were the photos, so we're sampling photos right there because we're collecting photos. What did we want to learn about them? Facts about the photos. Pretty decent question. Decent question right there. Any others? Let me know. Another question right here. We can go over it. We can review it. And we can talk about who. More importantly, you probably know what sample means. I'll do another one right here where it talks more explicitly about sampling. This one right here is a good one. A research center. Let's put that in the notes right here. A research center. But if you have another one, let me know. I'll do this one right here while we're just chilling out. Stat Tool 1, Quiz 1, Research Center. Okay. So this one actually talks about the sample. The sample will be what we collect information on. So we sampled 5,000 people. So that's quite clear. Now, it doesn't say it too well here, but they're trying to understand all people. The sample is what you take information on, which they're calling the who. Who did we take information on? The population is everything we want to understand. So apparently from this, they want to understand all people. So when we look at this right here, the sample would be the 500. In this case, the sample, nope. The population, nope. The population is all people, and the sample would be the 5,000. So the sample is the 5,000 taken, and the population is all people because we want to understand all people. So we're taking 5,000 as a sample to understand them. Describe the who and the what of the study. So the who is going to be the ones we take the sample from. The who is the selected sample subjects. We've now narrowed it down to these two questions, these two answers right here because the who is the sample. So the what is what we're learning about them, and I think we're learning up here about these issues right here. So that is the what. So oftentimes the what is called the parameter of interest. What do we want to understand? I prefer to call it the parameter of interest. You'll hear that terminology later in the class. They're just not introducing it at this point to call it the parameter of interest. Parameter of interest just means parameter means like thing we are measuring. Of interest means that we care about it. So the thing we are measuring that we care about, parameter of interest. Parameter is just a weird word that we use in statistics. Do we have another one that covers anything similar? Nobel Peace Prize. Let's knock this one out right here. If you have, Shiana, if you have another question, let me know, and we'll do another one. So this is the Stat Tool 1, Quiz 1, Nobel Peace Prize. Okay. So they're asking about the who again. So they're basically saying who is sampled right here. So if you were to go to the Nobel Peace Prize site and look through the different years that they have the Nobel Peace Prize given out, you're actually taking a sample of Nobel Peace Prize winners. So that's it. Going to the Nobel Peace Prize site, you're sampling from Nobel Peace Prize winners, and that means that's the who. So we have right here, the people who have been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize are going to be the who right there. Here, we'll head back to the main screen, but let's see if there's more questions. Nice and easy ones right here, but just practice, practice, practice. Main screen. What questions are there? Let me know if you have questions. I'm putting there's always time for questions. Where's my taking questions thing? Later on during the semester, I never have to put this up. If you're here right now, how many people does Mubot say is watching? 2! You're welcome, Gianna. Ask more questions if you got them. We can work any of the problems, and I'll explain. Just you can ask anything you want. Be like this. How do we do this one? What does this mean? Anything you want. We just sit here. We work problems. We talk through the theory of it. But we just take any questions you have. Ask a question. We shall answer it. I'll probably work some more questions here in a second, but it's the start of the semester. We're just chilling out. How are people doing on this first assignment? It is due tonight. Let me send a reminder to the class and say, just a reminder. Where is it? I need to go to gradebook and say, just a reminder. If If you miss the first assignment, the first quiz, it's gone. Homework 1? Yeah, let's do some homework 1 in a second. I'm going to send a thing out to the class. Message. I'm going to message the class real quick so I don't forget. Search email by criteria. The first quiz is due tonight, right, Chiana? Assignment performance. Specific assignments. Quiz 1. Okay, cool. Click OK. And score is less than 98 or no score. Search. Okay. Let me say, the first quiz is due tonight. You get 5 attempts. Email selected. Subject, quiz 1 due tonight. The first quiz is due tonight and then closes. It can't be redone or improved afterwards. You get 5 attempts. After getting an 80 on the associated homework. And first you get 5 attempts. The first attempt is always open on the quiz. I'm in office hours. I work all the problems people ask. Earlier this week, I worked every problem here. Okay, so let me go grab that, and then we're going to do the homework here. Okay, it's the other video. I'm going to send this out to everybody. Okay, here we go. And okay, so what did they... Cool. Great, Roberto, good to see you here. How do we interpret a dendrogram? Ooh, we'll do dendrograms next, Roberto. You got it. I'm going to send out this announcement to the students. Okay. It is due tonight, right? Okay, we got that right there. The announcement is sending out. We'll do dendrograms next. We're going to do homework 1 for Stat 201, and then we're doing dendrograms. I do like some dendrograms, Roberto. So good to see you here. We'll do a dendrogram next. Thank you, Roberto, for asking. So 1330, Stat 201, homework 1. Let's check it out. Let me get the... Okay, that's still sending. 2 seconds right here, Shiana. And thank you, Shiana, so much for asking. Let's throw out some points for being here. My announcement is still sending out to the class. About half the class has done the work. You want to get those hundreds. So, Shiana, you're here. You're going to get those hundreds. Let's get that 100. It's still sending the announcement. It takes a while because I sent it so many. Assignment manager. I'm getting the assignment back open right now as we speak. They changed around the structure of my lab recently. Or maybe I need to change it. Maybe it changed because we did a little update. Let's open here in just a second. We love points. We love points. More points in the chat. It's taking a moment. Okay, it loaded that. It's seriously like, oh, here we go. Okay, replace questions. And in just seconds, we will be doing it. Okay, we got it. Let's re-timestamp this. And it is time. Let's do it. Okay, we're doing the first homework. Let's get those hundreds. What did the data these cards allow the store to gather? So this is a store right here gathering information on their consumers. They've got like a loyalty card, like think like a Kroger card. So basically you're thinking, what would a Kroger card allow people to gather on a consumer? Identity of other stores at which consumers shop. You wouldn't get that from a Kroger card. You'd probably get that from credit card databases. So that's a no right there. Frequency with which customers make purchases at our Kroger store. Shout out to Kroger right there, or H-E-B. You could tell how often people are purchasing at your store with that. Some data analytics. The amount of money a customer spends. Well, yeah, that's, I mean, you go, boop, you swipe your card. They're going to know how much money you're spending. The geographical location of a customer's home. We do have that right up here. If you look at the mailing address, that's going to give us the geographical location. That is something you probably put when you fill out your form to sign up. Time a customer spends at the grocery store. Probably with advanced analytics, we'd find that out, but the card itself is not going to do that unless we have people scan in when they walk in and scan in when they leave. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could do it now with analytics, but a card alone is probably not going to get you that. Items a customer purchases, well, yeah, literally that's what the card's going to do. So these are things that we could collect on pretty easily and know things about our customers and make decisions based on the data. What are some reasons why our grocery store might do this? There's so many reasons. To analyze the effect of price changes to see if customers are like more likely or less likely to buy an item when we change the price. Definitely could do that. So we could see like we raised the price and customers stopped buying it. So that'd be interesting. To determine how to best market and advertise to different customers, sure, we could send out coupons and see if they actually use them. So we could then see as a customer, we sent coupons to, because we'd know if we sent the coupons to them actually using it. Remember, we have their mailing address and their email. We can find out, are we actually increasing or decreasing by our marketing efforts? To help determine the most profitable locations of a new grocery store, yeah, we could figure out areas where our sales are the best. We could figure out area where our sales are the best and then open more stores. I disagree with my Pearson a little bit here. We could maybe figure out if somebody's shoplifting. I don't know if we'd really want to do that with this sort of analytics on just a card, but I don't know. It says evidence, so I'm almost like, I mean, you could look for evidence, but my Pearson says no. My Pearson says you wouldn't look for evidence of shoplifting with a, I mean, it's not a common utilization. That's not going to be our, it's like, what are some reasons? It should say, what are the top reasons, or what are the top 3 reasons? I'd prefer it. Hey, Colin, what's up? Why are you not a mod, Colin? Happy game day, 100 points. Are you still down there? How you doing, Colin? So good to see you. We're going to destroy Ball State today. So good to see you. I got someone special, Colin, to show you real quick. You ready? Wait for it, Colin. Wait for it.
No time to chat, Brian. You got to get in the car. You got to get in the spaceship, Brian.
What? What is going on right here?
Brian, stop screwing around, and we got to get you back to Texas. It's a Stat 201 crossover. Yeah, Rick and Morty season 6.
He disappears right there. I just had to have a little fun. I spent a lot of time working on that, and so I'm just like, anytime I can like show someone that. Okay, cool. Okay. Let's go to question 2. Someone's like, I came here for the homework. Too bad we're having a little bit of fun. Okay. Rick again. He's just everywhere. I made it so I could do it live. So yeah, Gian right there cracking up. Nobel Peace Prize. We did this one earlier during the quiz. So the good to see you. Let's win. I love it. Rick and Morty is great. I'm on my way to Gatlinburg right now. Awesome. Have some fun in Gatlinburg. So awesome, Colin. I was in Knoxville last week. So good times. So the who is the who we are studying. I prefer to say the sample. So you should understand terms like sample. Who did we sample? So if we're going to go and look at Nobel Peace Prize winners from certain years, we're sampling from the Nobel Peace Prize winners. So the who we are trying to understand are Nobel Peace Prize winners. So people who've been awarded Nobel Peace Prizes are the who we are taking our sample from. I prefer just to call that the sample. Now the what is actually called the parameter of interest. So it's calling it what right here, but in statistical terms, I guess that makes sense. They're trying to use non-stats terms, and they're just saying, what are we analyzing? What are we collecting about? So that's the parameters. Another word for what are the parameters. So the who is the sample. That's who we take data on. So here we're going to talk to, I think, college students or something. Students selected random. So the who is the students that are randomly selected. That would be the who right here. And then the what is what we're going to learn from them. So the parameters of interest, the things we want to understand. And everything right here, which of the following is not one of the whats. We didn't ask them anything about the coffee shop. We asked them what is their home address, whether they study in the library, and their weekly food budget. We never asked them anything up here about the coffee shop. So the whats are the things we're trying to understand. Next, we have right here, why is geographic locations a categorical variable? And so, Shiana right here, really good question. What are the 3 types of variables? What are the 3 types of variables? And you can see all the variables except one on the screen because the third is actually a special type of this. So what are the 3 types of variables? We should know this pretty quickly. It's at the root of everything we do in statistics using different variable types. The 3 types of variables we talk about in this class are what? The third is a special kind of one of these. And we like to say that that is a teaching to the test moment. There are 3 types of variables. These are things you should know off the top of your head very quickly and be able to tell me about them. And these are the graphics they can make. We don't use the third type to make graphics because it's only used to do a certain special thing. The 3 types of variables are quantitative, categorical, And then the third type of variable is identifier, which is used to identify, which is a special case categorical. It never repeats, so they're only used to identify. That's why they're called identifiers. Great job right there. No worries. Don't worry for forgetting the third. It's identifiers. They're a special categorical variable that is only one. Shiana, great work right there. More points in the chat. Great job following along, practicing, just typing it, remembering it. Just making the wheels turn in your head really helps with when you get to the test. Be like, okay, there's quantitative, there's categorical, and identifiers are special case categoricals that are of groups of one. And then depending on what type of variable we have, it makes different graphics. So this question kind of points to, well, what the heck is a categorical variable? And a categorical variable is going to be something that puts things into groups. So zip codes are, oh my gosh, did I say categorical? Yeah, they're categorical because they put things into regions or groups right there. So in what sense are they categorical? They put things into groups. That's how they do it right there. That's why they're categorical. Last but not least, a pharmaceutical company is looking at how long it takes in seconds, I think it is. The researchers measure how long it takes in many minutes, seconds, anything like that. So you've got your different types of variables right here. You've got quantitative, categorical, and identifier. But it says ordinal. Ordinal is a categorical variable that's been put in order. So ordinal is a type of categorical variable. So categorical variables are either ordinal or nominal. So categorical is either ordinal or nominal. If something is ordinal, it'd be like class level because there's freshman through senior, or steak preference. If you do order a steak, steaks would be somewhere from rare to well done. I mean, you can get Pittsburgh or you could get something else maybe, but generally, like, what level of heat was put into the steak if you do order a steak. Now, nominal means there's no order, like state born in. So like New York, Tennessee, this doesn't have an order to it. There's no, like, from lowest to highest. What else is there? There's like hair color. I mean, I guess you could look at the color spectrum, but like blue, sure, brown, I don't know, red. Rest I forgot to mention red hair. But right here, hair colors are going to be nominal. They have no order. All of these are categorical variables. It's just that ordinal is a categorical variable that has an order to it, like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, graduate student. And steak preference also has an order: rare, midwell, rare, medium, midwell, well, hockey puck. And so nominal has no order to it. And look at the key part of this, like nominal, no, or ordinal, order. So nominal has no order to it, and ordinal has an order to it. Good way to remember that. When it comes to quantitative variables, real briefly right here, quantitative variables have a subtype 2, or a certain way they're used, where we have continuous. Oh, one of these days I'll learn how to spell that word. Can have decimals. So things like, how old are you? I am 40.71 today. Or GPA. GPA would be like, mine was like 3.2. Those are going to be continuous because they can have decimals. And quantitative means actual real numbers. Where discrete is whole numbers. And so this would be something like pizzas ordered. And maybe like you ordered 2 pizzas, bunnies owned. I own 2 bunnies, Morty and Jolly. So these right here are going to be discrete answers versus continuous. So it's still just quantitative, but we say it's like a continuous variable. Like it can be any number on the number line. Where discrete means it has to be whole numbers, where it's like, how many pizzas did you order last night? I guess someone could say I ordered 2.2 pizzas. I mean, I guess some place might deliver a 0.2 pizza, but usually we think of pizzas ordered as discrete. With bunnies, if I tell you I have 2.8 bunnies, you'll be like, how do you have an 8/10 of a bunny? I don't know. I lied. I only have 2 bunnies. So these are still quantitative. It's just kind of a subtype. Like, usually we just say the variable is quantitative, but it's like, oh, but it's continuous. It could be any number on the number line. It's discrete. It has to be whole numbers. Where a variable being categorical, it just means it's groups. And if the groups have an order to it, they're called ordinal. And if the group have no order to it, it's called nominal. So it's still just categorical. It's just that we could say like, oh, it's an ordinal categorical variable. Would discrete be considered more accurate? So it's just a good question right there, Chiana, and keep asking those questions. It just depends on the way you're collecting the data. continuous a lot of times. So, like, if I were to ask you how many countries have you been to, like I've been to, I guess, 2. Jamaica's a country, right? America's a country, right? And Canada's a country. I've been to 3. So if I ask you how many countries you've been to, would someone collect that continuous or categorical, or continuous or discrete? 5, cool. Man, I want to travel more. I just think about that. Like, I really want to travel more. Is that going to be a continuous or a discrete variable? So if you were to collect that, would you collect it as discrete numbers or continuous numbers? Discrete, because and does that make sense? So it's quantitative still, because you've been to 2 more countries than me. And remember, let's put a note right here, can take differences. So if we say Shiana has been to 2 more countries than I have, that's awesome. And I'm old. I'm 40. See right there. But if we had something continuous, if I were to ask you, like, and feel free to answer or not answer, these are not meant to be personal questions. If I were to ask you how, let's say, what is the longest distance you've ever run? Now, so the longest distance you've ever run, especially if I were to say I've ran, I think one day we ran like 15 miles, but let's say, we got to report that in kilometers. What is, well, I could do it. No, wait. Oh, that'd be a lot of kilometers. That'd be like 23.8 kilometers or something. Running through campus last year for our club. Nice. So we just had to look at the distance of campus. So maybe if that's the longest distance you've run right there for a club, was like, did the club like run through campus? So maybe you've ran, I don't know, like 3 miles, 4 miles, or 4.2. So when I ask longest distance run, this could be like 4.2 miles. And notice 4.2. I wasn't talking to you, Siri. 4.2 has a what, meaning it's continuous. So the key part of continuous right here, if a question is continuous, it is what versus discrete. When something is discrete right here, discrete, we're going to get a third bunny. So if you notice right here, continuous can have decimals. It doesn't have to. Like if someone said they ran 4 miles, it could still be continuous. It just has the ability to have decimals. But discrete has to be whole numbers. And they're both just quantitative, but they're numbers that either are whole numbers. It just really depends on what kind of question we're asking, where it's like, how many countries have you been to? That's going to be a discrete question because you either have been to a country or have not. So the amount is going to be a whole number. Or if you ask how far you've ran, someone could report distances that are in decimals, like I've ran 8.9 miles or 8.8, like if they were very exact. A lot of people might just say 5 miles, 6 miles, but someone could say 5.5 miles or a half mile. So does that make sense, Shiana, right there? Really great questions and understanding. Quantitative is actual real numbers. Categorical is going to be things that put things into groups. And then last but not least, identifiers. We should mention them here. Identifiers are going to be special case categoricals and cannot ever repeat, unique for each observation and must remain that way. That makes sense. Nice. So basically continuous laws from order and Friday. Yeah, so continuous, that's great job, Shion, right there. And a lot of times you might, if you can, collect something with a continuous number line and be more accurate. We actually call that the precision by which things were collected. So like you can be more precise. So it's called precision in measurement, like measurement precision, which that's a whole area of statistics. So identifiers are a third type. They're actually a special type of categorical though, but they cannot repeat. They never repeat. So if you look at, I think I might have a data set open that has an identifier. So if you look right here, we've got identifier right here. So if I said, bring me diamond 20, you'd go and get this diamond right here. So all of these numbers right here cannot ever repeat. If we were to make a graph of this identifier, which you can do right here, there's just one observation. There's actually a bar graph right here of it. Might make more sense if I go to graph builder. We don't usually graph identifiers, but identifiers, see, they're not pretty. They don't repeat. So the reason it looks like this is a bar graph of identifiers, and you see there's only one observation for each. So the height of the bar is showing us that there's one identifier for each. No number ever repeats. The numbers are a little bit tight right in there, but there's no number that ever repeats right here. It's all unique diamond numbers. So we could say, bring me diamond 44, and there's only one number. It identifies that diamond. It's a special case categorical variable. Whereas categorical variables often get displays like bar charts and stuff. So if we were to take something like the cut of a diamond, we could display the cut of a diamond with a bar chart right here and see the different bars and the counts on the side. We could even color it in. This is what's so cool about Jump. You can drop this into color. Really? Where's the colors? Huh. Why is it not doing the color? That's so weird. I forgot how to do things in Jump. Why is it not doing the color? Oh, I think I took the wrong variable. I meant to do, it was actually blending those colors. It was actually doing like if you notice some of the colors, so I took clarity and put it into, oh, that's so cool. It does like I've never seen that. I didn't even realize that. We put cut right here, so we need to put that into color. So that's what I was doing wrong right there. It's usually user error, and now we have a bar chart right here, nice and neat, pretty easy to look at, looking at the diamond. And this is probably ordinal. I don't know if I have it in the right order right now. No, because good and very good should be near each other. But it's probably ordinal, and we could fix that because diamond would probably go from fair, good, very good, ideal, and premium. Maybe it goes in that order. I don't know the order of diamond cuts to put them in the correct order. But yeah, probably grade category, rare, exceptionally slight. Color grade might be just nominal, have no real order to it. So we go to graph builder and we go to color. So let's go to color category. We put that right here. We could turn this into a pie chart right here. And then we'd also want to add the labels and do label by value, or we could go label by percent. And there you go. So well, this is one of the neat things, Chiana. Does it look kind of easy to make a pie chart or a bar chart inside of a Jump? Like, this is why Jump's pretty neat, because it's point-click software. You can just go over here to Graph and Graph Builder and drag your values in, and then just click the options. You just go to Graph Builder, and you see these are categorical. So you could add something like the clarity of a diamond down here. There's a lot of different clarities, and we could make this into a bar chart by clicking the bars up here. There's the bars. We could then drop clarity into color and get some colors right there. Click done, and there you go. Pretty nice, and we could add the numbers on it. But this is kind of why we use point-click software in 201. It makes our life a little bit easier, and we can do some really great graphics pretty quickly. So that's got it right there. That is using a little bit of Jump to do some graphics. And we just made a pie chart and a bar chart right there, a pie chart and a bar chart inside of Jump. What other questions are there? Let's see if there's any other questions. Let's head back here to the main screen. Here we go. Oh, last question was quantitative. Someone's gonna be like, last question was quantitative. Hopefully people figured that one out. But people should have 100 on the homework. 100 on the homework. Let's see. We got 40 more minutes. Let's put on a little music right here. It's the end of the week. I think people are like, week 1 is done. It's game day. Oh no, I'm worried about class attendance now. I'm getting scored. Quiz 1 due tonight from Brian Stevens. Product support. Whoa. Wait. Oh, I think that's right. Interesting. See if there's questions in the chat. If you have questions, let us know. I'm just seeing if there's any urgent things. Had meetings this morning. Lots of meetings. Awesome. Oh, nice. What questions are they? Can we redo the rest? Yeah, which questions do you want to do? Tell me which questions and we'll get them done. Let me pull back up the quiz here. Thank you, Chiana, right there for asking. Let's pull up the rest of that quiz. Which one are you working on? Let me know which quiz question. I'm going to go to the assignment manager. Which quiz question are you working on? Just name the question. It starts with Ian Walker. I think it's the biker one. It's near the end. The guy doing the stuff on the bike, collecting data, bicycle safety. I think we're going to have it. Thank you so much. Let's get this going. Let's get that 100. That's what we're here to do. Okay. 36. 40. Stat Tool 1, Quiz 1. Ian Walker. Here we go. Let's go. Check it out. Here we go. Okay, we've got the Ian Walker riding on a bike question right here. So this is someone who wrote an article or did some research and posted it to the New York Times. They were riding a bike and some days they wore a helmet and some days they didn't. I'm not doing that kind of research. Yeah, like please wear a helmet when you ride a bicycle. I mean, like imagine if you were riding in a car where there was like no roof and the sides were open and you weren't wearing a seatbelt and you're just like riding in a car, but let's say it's only going half the speed. Still super dangerous, right? You'd be like, maybe I should wear a helmet if I'm in this like vehicle that doesn't have a container to keep me inside of it, and also I'm not strapped into it, and the car could tip over at any times too. So yeah, a little scary there, right there. But please wear a helmet when you ride a bike. It's cool. Tony Hawk said it's cool to wear helmets when you skate, so I think it's cool. So anyways, that's the research they did, and they also collected data on how close the cars were to them. So what is the who of this study? So the who is what they're sampling. So you have to be very careful right here. You ready? A, B, C, or D. Don't worry about getting it wrong. Think about they're going out and they're riding a bike and they're watching cars pass them. Who are they sampling? Is it A, B, C, or D? And don't worry about being wrong. I'll explain the right answer. Just take a shot at it. Maybe I got one or two of these wrong when I did it. Just saying. A little tricky. Who are they sampling? So when it says who, it's who are they sampling? Which is not really like a who. It's like, what is data being collected on? So the who is what the data is being collected on. It's the sample. I prefer to call it sample. Let's see right here. So it's being done by the guy riding the bike. But the who is like every instance of data they're collecting. So they collect data each time an instance a car passes the biker. So that's every time a car passes someone, that's like a data collection point. Does that make sense why to say it's like the who? So that's what they're interested like in collecting data on. Like every time someone passes him, he's going to take the distance they passed him by. So that's the who right there. It's every instance of a car passing him, whether or not he rode a helmet, which is going to be the what is like he's looking at the what's going on. Yeah. So the who is like, it's kind of the observations. I prefer to call that an observation. The who is like an observation, what we're sampling. Every observation is an instance of a car passing. A car passes him, and he takes the information on how far that car is away. So the who are the observations, the samples of the study. So that's what we sampled. The what of the study right here is going to be, I think it's the distance. Now, you don't select multiple ones here. Don't be tricked, like some people were tricked. You're not selecting multiple things right here. He's just looking at the distance by which cars pass. That is what is of interest, oftentimes known as the parameter of interest. Parameter being the thing we are studying, and this is what we're taking as information, the thing we want to understand. If you see what, I prefer to call it the parameter of interest, and that'll be very important in chapter 12, I think. Chapter 12 it is. Identify the population of interest. So this is what we want to generalize all of our results to. Now, don't worry, type A, B, C, or D in the chat. This is what we want to generalize all of our results to. The population is what we want to generalize the results of individual cars passing a biker. What do we want to generalize our results to? We want to say, like, this represents the idea of this. Like, we're going to take the sample of each instance of a car passing a biker, and then we're going to generalize that and talk about, well, this might explain how what works. A, B, C, or D. And don't worry, So think this is like the whole group we want to understand. When it says population of interest, the keyword is population, and of interest means the group we want to understand. So the group we want to understand is what? This one's tricky also. Don't worry about getting it wrong. I'm going to throw 100 points to you on it. Don't worry about getting it wrong. I think you got it. I think you got it. Yeah, let me see. That's awesome. Another 100 points in the chat. I think you got it. Let me see right here. All the cars when they pass the researcher. Not the researcher, right? It's going to be all the drivers who pass cyclists. So this would be just for the person on the bike. He wants to understand like it's for all the drivers when they pass a cyclist. So he's trying to talk about like if you are a cyclist, I want to research like what's happening to you. Even though this right here, this would be more the sample right here because all the cars who pass the researcher is the sample. He wants to understand like for all instances. Does that make sense to say this was the sample right here, individual cars that passed him? So it's looking at the bigger picture. Yeah, he's trying to make, which then you might say, did he get a good view of it? Was his view representative? Maybe like the place he's at is different, or maybe he was doing something different while he was riding his bike. So this is the sample he took, and then we're kind of putting this view into a bigger view of like all people who pass people on bikes. And we'll check that answer. We got that 100. That's how we do right here. So what other ones do you want to do? I bet you someone's watching this video later and being like, oh man, I wish we did this one. But just always join into these office hours here and you can just be like, hey, let's do this question. And later in the semester, whoo, it'll get busy. I hope it does. If this is like the semester where it's not busy, I'll be really sad. The next one was asking for a recent newspaper on eating habits. Let's do that one right here. Recent newspaper article on eating habits. You got it. Boom. And you can always do more practice. Let's do recent newspaper article. Just jump in here and get those hundreds. Here we go. Recent newspaper article on eating habits. So 26%, the phrase 26% ate 3 or more servings of vegetables a day refers to what kind of variable and why? So we're asking, I'll share all how. This one's a bit weird. It's a bit weird of a question. So you could ask people, think about this. It says 26% of people ate 3 or more servings of vegetables a day. So what kind of variable? Now, the way we know what a variable is, how do we know which variable it is? So we've got 3 variable types. We've got categorical, quantitative, and identifier. So here's our 3 variable types. You can see them on the screen. Quantitative is actual real numbers. Categorical, oh, I don't like that. Let's go. Sure, that's better. Categorical puts things into groups. And identifier are unique for each and every one. A little bit of notes right there to help you out with this type of question. Make sure you know these. And then we've got the subtypes right there of the variables. We can make them probably look really good if we just go a little bit bigger there. Now it's nice and easy to see. Okay, so there's your types of variables. And let's think about this. I want you to talk to me about my vegetables. I want you to ask me a question about vegetables. Think about what you could ask right here to create this graphic. So the newspaper reported 26% ate 3 or more servings of vegetables per day. I want you to just ask me a question right now. And then just ask me a question about my vegetables eating. So think about how the newspaper could have collected this data. So do you think it was quantitative, categorical, or identifier? What's your least favorite vegetable? I like that right there. So least favorite vegetable, ooh. I don't like Brussels sprouts. But how about this? How about, Brian, how many servings of vegetables do you eat a day? I'll probably eat 2. I eat carrots a lot. I do like some carrots. I'll probably eat 2. I might eat carrots most day. Good carrot stuff. And then maybe there's a second one in there. Maybe some like spinach, maybe. Maybe I need more spinach. Eat your greens, right? So what kind of question is, how many vegetables do you eat a day? That is what? C, Q, or I in the chat. How many vegetables do you eat a day? Is that C, Q, or I? Just type C, Q, or I. It is quantitative. Another 100 points right there is quantitative. But how about if I ask it this way? Instead of asking, how many vegetables do you eat a day? Which we could collect the data this way. How many vegetables do you eat a day? I could say, do you eat 3 or more veggies? Do veggie straws count? A day. So the first one right here was quantitative, but you're free to respond to this if you want. Do you eat 3 or more veggies a day? Now I responded 2 to this. So now look at how we respond to this question. I respond no. Sad times. So notice it's categorical. So they could have collected this different. It just depends. I don't know how they collected it. They're reporting it that because it's yes, no, exactly, because it puts people into groups. So even though it's got like a number in it, we're not actually collecting how many vegetables they eat a day. We're just saying, do you eat 3 or more veggies a day? And then we're collecting yes, no on that, puts people into groups. So it's categorical. It's not identifier because everyone's not giving a unique response. Identifiers are usually used as like something to just identify, like we were doing the diamond data set earlier, kind of which diamond. So the identifiers are right here, like diamond number 10 right there is identified. And that can't repeat. There is no other diamond 10. So just depending on how they collected this data, it could be quantitative or categorical, just depending on how they asked the question. Another question, let's do it. Chiana, great work right there. Always look to the question that's asked to see how they collected the data, because even though this is numbers right here, like, well, it says 26%, that's a number, right? Well, but if they ask, do you eat 3 or more veggies a day? That's a categorical question. Like if I ask you hair color and 26% of people say brown, well, hair color is categorical, but 26% is just summarizing hair color. So good stuff right there. What other questions do we have? Did you get that 100, Gianna? I try to tell people, I say, show up, join in office hours, ask every question you got, get them in here before everyone joins in. Because some days everyone's like, this one is asking about pharmaceutical companies. Let's do that one. You got it. A pharmaceutical company. What's going on with that pharmaceutical company? Let's do the pharmaceutical. We're working towards that 100. We're going to get it right here. Okay, pharmaceutical company. Let me mark this in the notes so when people come back later, they can check it out. What are our 3 types of variables? Tiana, drop those 3 types of variables in the chat right here while I take the timestamp. What are the 3 types of variables? This is where you're reviewing, you're practicing. You know the 3 types of variables. Super quick now. And I'm asking it in a tricky way because it doesn't show it on here. Categorical quantitative identifier worth 100 points right there. Great job. And you see right here, we've been taking notes as we've been working on this, where we have the different subtypes right here. With ordinal is a categorical variable that's been put in order. Nominal means it has no order. Quantitative is going to be either continuous or discrete. And identifier means it's unique and cannot repeat. So let's look at the question we got. The question says, the researcher measures how many seconds it takes for something to leave the bloodstream. So we're going to be like 22 seconds. I left super quick. Next person. 5 seconds. So what is that right there? Is that actual real numbers? Is that groups? Is that identifiers? Is that an ordinal categorical variable? We're measuring how long it takes for it to leave the bloodstream. Which of these terminologies right here best describes it? Yep. And it's probably continuous because it could take like 5.2 seconds. So it's quantitative. You don't have to say it's continuous since it's a number. Yeah. But be careful. And Chiana, you're right. And then you just have to make sure you can take differences between the numbers, because we could say group 1, group 2, and you could say, it's numbers. But group 1, group 2 might just be like individuals who have characteristic 1, individuals who have characteristic 2. So you have to watch out, because just because it's numbers, it needs to be like numbers we can take differences of, and then the differences have interpretations. Chiana, great practice, great work. That's a trick we put on the test every once in a while, where we'll do categorical with numbers. Like maybe we ask people, a good way to describe this is, you're having a wedding. You give people food options. So 1 is pizza. 2 is chicken. 3 is steak. 4 is vegetarian, like tofu or something. And then 5 is no food. So now if you look at this right here, it's numbers, but the numbers represent groups. So you could say like, I chose option number 2. Like someone might just report, I chose option 2 for the wedding. Well, that's not 2 of something. That is group 2. So this in this instance, this would be categories right here, categorical. And also, would this be nominal or ordinal for 100 points? Would this be nominal or ordinal? Would this be, and be careful, I think the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 could trick people on it. Is this nominal or ordinal? It's a good, tricky question. It's a good, tricky question. And I think it's easier to know the answer. Gianna, good guess right there. It looks ordinal because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if I remove this right here, think about pizza, chicken, steak, vegetarian. if I were to move steak over here, it wouldn't really matter, as The Rock says.
It doesn't matter.
So it is categorical and subtype nominal. Even though if we assign numbers to the group, there's really no inherent order to it. Even though 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goes in order, it's just like we could call steak option 1. Does that make sense? Like I could move steak to option 1 and then say steak is option 1, and ordinal has an inherent order to it that can't be changed. Even though we're assigning numbers to this, it's just group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5. We could change what's in that group. We could say, we're not doing steak anymore. It's too expensive. We're going to do beef or something like that. Some like beef stew. Beef stew at our wedding. Beef stew, pizza rolls, vegetarian. You get to pick. Which option do you pick? You know, I'm gonna pick option 3 just to say I ate pizza rolls at a wedding. See, I went to a wedding where we had pizza rolls, and someone would be like, "Really?" I'd be like, "It was good. It was good. It was homemade." Could you imagine homemade pizza rolls? Option 2 right there, some pizza. Yeah, it depends on what's on it, right? Homemade pizza rolls might be really good. Like think about little tiny calzones or something. I think homemade pizza rolls could be amazing to me. You know, maybe I'll tell Chelsea we should make some homemade pizza rolls. It'd just be little pizza pockets, you know? I think if you had a professional chef make you pizza rolls, I know. Or imagine like, you know, like you get the little pizza rolls, but imagine it's like a bigger one. Like maybe you get like 4 pizza rolls, but they're different things. Like one's like a mushroom one, one's like a chicken pizza roll or something. Or you get to pick your pizza rolls. Like you're like, oh, I'll have a spinach and feta pizza roll. I mean, imagine a professional chef made you a spinach, feta, portobello mushroom pizza roll. So I just want lunch. That could be absolutely amazing. And then you could be like, someone be like, pizza rolls at a wedding. You'd be like, yeah, it was insane. I mean, like, it was paired with wine. And I'm like, what? I think I just came up with an idea right here. Oh my gosh, that's what happens. Let's do more questions if you got them. Which one? I think you're on to Kirsten. So good to see you. I think we're on to something right here. So this would be quantitative because it's actual real numbers. Maybe I'll tell Chelsea we should do professional pizza rolls when we do our wedding celebration. The next one is about sensors at a parking garage and helping out those consumers. Let's do it. Thank you so much, Chiana, right here. We're having some fun, working away. I think it's right here. No, it's the email one. Great work. Here we go. Sensors at a parking garage. Somebody's like, yes, that's my question. And Kirsten, so good to see you. How's your semester going, Kirsten? Sensors at parking garage. Okay. So this one's pretty tricky because there's a lot of decent answers on it. It's probably my least favorite question ever. So with this right here, they're asking how this could attract consumers and also help the store owners by adding these sensors. So you're looking for something that both attracts consumers and helps the store owners. So let's check it out. The owners of the parking garage could raise parking prices based on the demand for the time of the day. They can help communicate with businesses as to what to expect, less consumers, and they can adjust their store hours appropriately. That sounds decent. The owners of the parking garage can alert shopping customers if their car has been moved. Nah, that's not going to really help attract. I mean, they're already there then. Going great. Football game, yeah. Hopefully, we had pretty good attendance this morning, so I'm hoping we keep good attendance. Still got class today. The owners of the parking garage can advertise availability of parking. That sounds like a very good idea to me because they'll know with the sensors. They can also communicate with businesses about hours and more spots are available and when they should encourage more business. Okay, and help store owners make plans. Yeah, that sounded like some plans right there. More spots available. Yeah, that sounds like plans. The owners of the parking garage can invest in a larger garage based on the busiest time of the day. The increased capacity will lead to increased sales for the store owners. No. Woo! Scary. It's probably one of my least favorite questions. I think there's decent answers all around. I'd love to see 50. Meath, good to see you here. If you got questions, let us know. Let's throw 100 points in the chat. We got Meath here. We got Kirsten here. We got Shiana here. If you got questions, drop them in the chat. We're working on some stats for one, but we can do any questions you got. Not a huge fan of this question. Maybe it's because I got it wrong once. But I think you give this question to 50 statisticians. They might give you slightly different answers. Just so you know, every question we put on the test is carefully curated. We do look over each semester to see if students are massively missing a question. There's a lot of really good analysis you can do to see if like the students who are following along, because what it does is you look at the grades, and it does an analysis where if a student like made like a 90 on a test, and then everyone who's making a 90 is missing this question, then you get like a spike. I'm trying to think what it's called. It's not discriminant analysis. It might be. No, this is a different thing. It's got a special name, but we get that analysis to tell us questions that are. The last is about what kind of case study with the vegetable one. Oh, let's look at that one. So we carefully check our questions to make sure we're not getting a question that like people who understand the material are getting wrong, which you can generally analyze. So we want to make sure you are not getting that sort of question. Researchers. We'll find this last question. Chiana, great job right here. I want to hear that you got that 100. Do you have time left? Would you explain? Of course, Meath. We got more than enough time left. I think this is it. Is it this one right here? Is it the case studies were? Let's say vegetable case study. Great job, Chiana. We're going to do that question here, Meath, in 2 seconds. Not 2 seconds, but about 2 minutes. Quiz 1. Probably 1 minute. Vegetable case study. Here we go. Let's do it. A recent newspaper article found that Americans eat healthy. Reported that only about 1/3 of Americans eat 2 or more servings of vegetables per day, and only 26% eat 3 or more servings. Californians ate the most fruits, while Tennesseans ate the most vegetables. The cases in the study were... Okay. Now, the cases in the study are going to be what they're sampling. I prefer to just call it who they sampled, and they are sampling individual Americans. Individual Americans right there. So I prefer to call that the sample. Who did they sample from? The individual Americans. I just, you go and you speak to someone, that's a case. Sometimes it's called a case study if you take an individual and you do research on them, and they're the only person. That's called a case study. So each person would be a case, and it'd just be the individual Americans they talk to. So we did every single one of these. If there was a question, if you're watching this now in the future, I think it's the August 29th, which I sent out to the whole class. People don't have hundreds on this first quiz yet. Got my 100, another 100 points in the heart there, Chiana. And swing by any officers. You can ask anyone who's been in Stat 201. We'll work as many of these as we can, and then we jump to other topics. But just be here, ask those questions. We can work them all. We can review the topics and make sure we understand not just the answers, but understand the notes. And let's do some 320. Meath, great to see you here. Let's get 320 up and going. It is time for some 320. 320 question. I was getting an error. Levels, eliminate grade, object to closure is not suitable. Oh, I see what it is, Meath. Meath, I bet we're going to solve this here in a second. Have a great Labor Day weekend. Awesome. Oh my gosh, 3-day weekend. Kind of 4-day weekend for me. Try that, Meath, right there. You were using levels as a... trying to get the positions of the levels object. Yeah, exactly. Should we work the question or something, Meath? Or do you have another one? Tell me the next one you're working right here. If you're working one right now currently, we can just go work it together. Tell me which one you're working. We can just go work on that right now. Great job. You're like, oh, wait a minute. I used square brackets gets positions. Parentheses runs it as a function. So you were saying of the levels object. Let's work on the 5th one. You got it. Okay. Okay, cool. Question 5. Oh, man. 320 today. Woo! Thank you so much, Chiana. If you're still here, another 100 points. We did a lot of 201. I know people are really going to be very happy about that. Let's work on the 5th question. Let's do it. Okay, so here is question 5 right here. And we have the data set. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the global environment. Boop. I'm going to clear my plots. Boop. I'm going to clear this. Boop. And everything's been cleared. You got those little dustpans right there that just remove everything. So they're super neat. They've cleared everything out. My 1.05 gigs of memory is just working away right there. I'm going to do what's called run all chunks above. This is the run all chunks above. So I'm just going to click this, and every bit of code I have above is run. So now it runs all chunks above. Now, make sure you don't have an error or your file won't knit. So I have run all chunks above. What is this code right here? What does this button right here do, Meath? So what is this? Runs all chunks above. And if you look, it says run all chunks above. Just means it runs all code before this. What does this code right here do? You can kind of see what it does right there. What does that do? If I click that button, Exactly, just runs the code in that section right there. So that just runs the current code. This runs all chunks above. This is the chunk options right here. Like you can rename the chunk and say Brian's code. And then you've got options like when you knit it, show the output only, show the code in the output. You can make it so it doesn't show warnings. And so there's show warnings true or false, show messages, and you can just change the way the chunk works. Preferably, and it might actually get mad about that exclamation. I don't know if I can have an exclamation in the name of the chunk. But preferably the best way to change this if you're working with changing things right now is to just use the options right here to change it. I've actually never used these options down here really, but I would preferably do it this way. You can always write it right here and change this to like true if you want, but a lot of times I'll see students make errors, and if you destroy the chunks, it won't knit. It won't knit. A lot of people are gonna have knitting issues. It's very common. Okay, so here we are with question number 5. Question number 5 says, we need the Greek data set. Now, this is why I ran all chunks above, because we need the, not the, add a column Greek that is the initial copy of the fraternity sorority, and this is to the alumni data set. So in the alumni data set, it should say that previously. So we're adding, let's go here to a chunk, and this is the add chunk button. I'm going to go right here and call it. You can call it right here, Q5A. And notice how it puts the name right there, so we could find it later on if we want to find our Q5A chunk. And now we want to look at how many levels there are. And I think, Meath, you already did this one. Levels is a function right here that just tells you the levels there are for a certain variable. So a variable needs to be what for us to see levels? This is Brian is doing similar, but a level needs to be a factor categorical, where if you run levels on something that's not a factor, you don't get anything. You get null, which means there's nothing there. So levels only works when something is categorical, and you can check that by looking at your variables right here. So you could actually get the factors of zip code, which that's going to be pretty crazy, or the factor of gender code. So if we did want to see the levels of something in this actual data frame, we could go to, was it gender code? It wasn't gender code. We go to alumni. We connect it with a $sign, and there's the levels of gender code right there. What's super cool about this, and it's not part, I think we do this later on, maybe in this assignment, is you could actually rewrite this, Meath. Watch this. You could go right here to the levels, and you could write male, female, and unknown, or they didn't know what it was. And check this out. Notice what it just did to all of those right there. What just happened when I ran this code right here, Meath? So I went to the levels vector, and I stored into it male, female, unknown. So I went right there and, oh no! Darn it. Let me rerun my code. Let me check it. Ooh, you got to be careful doing stuff like this. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. So what did I do right there? Now I've done it correctly. Notice that I was able to rewrite all of these. Every single one of these was changed. So, Meath, I just changed. Did you add a new level to the existing? No, I overwrote the levels. So I stored good answers right there, Meath, and good practice. So I went to the levels vector. So this is the levels vector right here. And then I overwrote it with this vector. So I saved onto it, and it recoded all the variables. So I was able to, like, someone's like, oh, we don't want it coded that way. And I was like, okay, let me just recode the levels. So that literally overwrites the levels. Female with F for female is overwritten right here on F. Male is overwritten on M. And then unknown is written over here on U. And this is real data once again. The alumni data set, so that we didn't have information, didn't supply by the person right there. So yeah, you can overwrite it that quickly, because previously the data looked like this right here with MF right there. You could. So we'll make a new vector right here in a moment, which I think we're getting towards with these. And remember, Brian's doing similar but different work. One level is this. What position is this? So let's say we wanted to find something like, because these are all, wait, one level. Oh yeah, so we're finding in the levels vector. Okay. So if we want to find something, call this Q5B. Let's say we were to take the unknown. So you remember how we have that U? So remember, Brian's doing similar but different work. I want to repeat that a bunch of times here. So if we go to the levels vector of alumni, and we go to gender, now, without code right now, can you just tell me what position is U in, Meath? No code, just tell me what, just look at it right there and tell me U is in what position. U is in what position? Just look at the vector. It's in position 3, right? So how about this? So now we found it via trues and falses, right? So then how do I return the position number for this? And I could just call this, I'll leave it as, I could call this logical. Just a logical vector of trues and falses. So how would I then find the position where the true is at? How would I find which one is true? How would I find which one is true? So I know it's 3. Yeah, that's it. Which? There you go. And so for bigger things like this one, I'm just going to do this one. Why not? For bigger things, it works the same way, but it'd be harder to do. Like if I go levels, alumni, I'm actually doing the problem right now. And then if we go to Greek, we're supposed to make that new column. Let me make that. There it is right there. Equals this. I left an extra parentheses around this. There it is right there. And then we would just take this and I could call it logical again, just to store it, to work with it. And I could put a which around it. And there it is right there. It's in position 40. Technically, this question, it does want you to do a little bit at the start right here where you add a column. So adding a column is done by saving into a new spot that doesn't exist. And we're just going to write the same column right here because we might do some manipulations on it. But does that make sense right there, Meath? We're writing into the data frame into a new column that doesn't exist, such as like, and I wouldn't do this, but you could write a column Brian and store into it 5 and take a look at the end of the data frame now. At the very end of the data frame, there is, we got to go over a little bit more. At the very end of the data frame, there is now a column called Brian, and Brian has in it 555555555 because it just stored 5 for a whole column named Brian. And that column didn't exist till I created it. So if you call $ and then a spot that doesn't exist, it'll append that at the end of your data frame. So that's how you create a new column. Columns are called by using the $. So we said, use the alumni dataset, take vector, column, fraternity, sorority. Exactly, it's just a copy. Yep, so you could make another copy like, you go right here and you go Greek copy 2, and this will append it at the end of the data frame. So if you look at your end of your data frame right now, at the very bottom, you see Greek copy 2. I wouldn't do something like this, but you can see, I mean, I am, so maybe I would do something like this. But you can see it's just putting more copies of that right there. It's just a copy of that vector right there. Does that make sense what this does right here? It takes this vector and it creates a new vector because this name did not exist. If I store to a name that does exist, it'll overwrite it. So you see WE, which is wealth estimate. I wouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. Wealth estimate will now be overwritten. See how it has 14 levels? But because that spot exists, I have just overwritten wealth estimate with the same copy that I've been doing. There is no undo button in R, so I'd watch out doing all this. I'm going to comment all this out and run all my code above. And I've fixed my issues by commenting out all that nonsense code. And now we get just our Greek copy here at the end. Watch out, there is no undo button in R. So if you do stuff like that, create nonsense columns, overwrite things you shouldn't, you can't hit undo. You have to like run all your code again and redo it. Like you have to redo the work to get it fixed. Good stuff right there. Good practice. So we kind of did the question right here. How many people went Greek? Okay. So let me ask you this. I want right now, we're doing a similar but different question. You ready, Meath? I want you to simply tell me, this is similar but different work, Q5C. I want you to just look at the gender vector in alumni. All I want you to do, we're doing this in steps. I want you to just look at the gender vector in alumni. So try writing that out right here in the chat, Meath. To just look at the, and don't worry about capitalization so much, I'll fix it if there's issue. But I just want you to pull up the gender vector in alumni. That's all I want you to do. Boom. Alumni. Gender. Boom. There it is. Now I want you to add to this code and be careful. Like if you do this right here, you'll get tons of output. So look at your output after you're done. Now I want you to tell me, I want you to check to see if somebody's male. I want you to check to see if somebody is male. Just do the logical check to see if someone's male. And Meath, you're doing great. 100 points. Keep up the answers. Now I want you to check to see if someone's male. That close, Meath. Super close. We have to put the male, or it's going to be capital M. Do you see how it's spelled down here? And it has to be in quotes. So seeing this right here, we're going to check to see if it's equal to, if the person is equal to capital M. And you can see the trues and falses. So you always want to run your code in little bits right there to make sure it's doing what you want it to do. So we have found the people who are males. But how would we find the people who are not male? How would we find the people who are not male? How would you find the people who are not male? How would you find the people who are not male? Not equal to male. And I don't know is always a good answer. This is testing. Like if you have no idea. Perfect answer. 100 points, Meath. You're exactly right. Not equal to. So these are the people who are not male. So equals is equal to male, and not equals is not male. So what we could also do, and there's many ways to do this, is you could actually take and flip it over here. So some people might prefer to take this and flip it right here. So these two codes right here are the same. You could put the not there or the not there, but you get the same answer. It just, exclamation mark flips your trues and falses. So it stands for not equal to, and this would be they are equal to male, but that is not true. So it's not true that they are equal to male versus they are not male. So just different ways of communicating the same idea. Like it is not true that they are equal to male. They are not equal to male. So, yeah. Okay, so now that we found people who are not male, it says how many. So trues and falses are seen as what's and what's inside of R. Watch this. You ready? Trues and falses are simply seen as what's and what's is inside of R. 4. Zeros and ones. So just take this vector right here to find out how many people are not male and go sum. There you go. Or you could take the mean of that vector, and there's the percent. 33% of the donors, or 32.98% of the donors are not male. So that's the percent that are not male. We could also do the percent that are male. So if you did this right here, it would just be the complement of it, because either they're male or not male. And there it is right there. So you can see the percent that are not male, the percent that are male, and it makes sense because it should add up to 100. Or you can find out how many are male. Well, this is going to be how many are male. So when we look at our problem right here, we need to figure out if somebody is in Greek life. Well, let's look at the Greek life vector for a moment. And there it is right there. And I want you to notice something about the level. When you look at the levels, is there a specific level that looks not quite like the others? Is there a specific level? Give me a second. Is there a specific level that looks not like the others? Is there a specific level that looks not like the other? Is there a specific level that's like, that level is not... These are the answers people can give. If I say, are you in Greek life? They could say the fourth. Well, that is an interesting one, right? That one is interesting. I do agree. 100 points for that. It's interesting. But they all have like UTK before them, right? They all have like UTK alpha, UTK delta, UTK, bunch of stuff. But there's one that looks there's one that looks a little bit different. There's one that looks a little bit different. Do you get what I'm laying down right there? There's one that looks a little bit different. The first one, right? So it's empty. So what's odd about this is if you do the following, and I do concatenate close, you get that right there. That's nothing reported. It looks a little bit odd if you look at the alumni data set. These people right here, like this person and this person, did they report NA or did they report this? And it might be easier if I do the following factor, and let's make a factor of the following NA, and missing this, and take a look. So do you see where I put this right here? If somebody had said NA, it would have put this for their response. Like So this right here is not an NA. That person 989, reported nothing. They reported a blank vector. And that's what we're seeing way back. Oh my gosh. That's what we're seeing when we look at the levels. The levels are the possible responses of it. And those people are reporting this right here. So how in the world could we figure out if somebody right here in Greek life reported nothing? So, and be careful, Meath, if you do the space, remember this one doesn't have a space. It's a blank, it's an empty quote with no space. If you do the space, it will be different. It'll be a space. So how could we figure out if someone reported? Yeah, it's so minute of a difference, but it'll destroy everything. One extra, we say spaces don't matter, but that's a character vector of a space. So that's a character string of a space. So that's actually information, not like a space. Like spaces right there don't matter, but a space inside of here would matter. Yes, great job, Meath. Right there, another 100 points. You're getting it. Equals this. So all these people, what? Tell me about these people. All these people, what are what? I'm kind of answering the question, but you'll have to look at what code you need. So, Meath, if you're doing the question, you might be like, oh, okay. So what does that mean for them reporting? Remember what the levels are? So, Meath, you're on the right track. It means that they have that they reported that. So what would that mean for the person? So if they're equal to that, that would mean what for them? If they're equal to that, that would mean what for their Greek life status? Like this person is true. It means they reported nothing. So are they in Greek life or not in Greek life? It means this person right here reported this. So that code we just ran, which Meath put in the chat right there, I think. Yep. It means that they reported this right here. So are they in Greek life or not in Greek life? Are they in Greek life or not in Greek life? Because that's what they reported. We said, are you in Greek life? And they said, boop. We said, what Greek life? And they said, boop. Or like whatever that is, however that sounds. You could say we don't know, but at least I would say no because they didn't report being in Greek life. So at least at this point, I would say we don't have that they're in Greek life. We don't have that they're in a Greek life. They're not associated with Greek life. We don't have. I mean, it's theoretically possible they could be in Greek life, but they didn't report anything for being in Greek life. Like this is how they reported. Like there's no Greek life group they're associated with that we have in our database. Does that make sense? Rather, Meath? So these are the people who their value, let's look at the code again. They didn't report exactly. So did the person for their Greek variable report nothing? So these would be the people who are not in Greek life. But watch this. You ready, Meath? How about these are the people who did not report nothing? So I'm finding people now what? These are the people who did not report nothing. So that code right there that is showing the output on the screen, these are the people who did not report nothing. So just tell me what that means. So it's for your alumni Greek, did you not report nothing? They reported something. So what does it mean if you report something? If you reported something, you reported that you're what? So you're on the total right track. If you reported something, that means it's that they did not report nothing. Those are the people who did not report. They are in Greek life. We do have a Greek life association with them, right? So what could I do with this code here that we just did for the people who are not reporting nothing? I could do what to it to find out how many people. So those are the people who did not report nothing. They reported some sort of Greek life affiliation. So how could I figure out how many of them there are? Some. I could figure out the percent too by saying what percent are in Greek life with that. So there we go. There's the sum. It's only that percent. I thought it was higher. I did it right? I guess so. If you look at the vector, there's a lot of people who are not in Greek life. Like if you look at this information, there's a lot of blank spaces. So it makes sense, I guess, that only like 10% are in Greek life. Hey, Priya! Priya, so good to see you here. Thank you for swinging by. 100 points in the chat for Priya being here. Does that make sense, Meath? An excellent work, Meath, right here. Great job practicing the code. That's what we do here. Might be ending in a moment. Let's see. Yeah, it goes till 12:30, but I'm happy. I think this completes it, and I want you to see here, Meath, look at the last one real quick right here. Number 5 is basically done now. Do you notice anything about the levels vector that is kind of odd? And you should just write some few sentences right here. Do you notice, like, if we ask people what organization you're in, And if you look right here, this is what somebody reported. Like if you actually look at the data right here, let's go look at the data. Remember, this is what people said in their survey response. So this is what people said. I have to go all the way to the end right here. So there's Greek. Okay. Am I going to see one of those weird ones or not? Oh, wait, that was one. Yeah, look at that. Phi Gamma Delta, Phi Gamma Delta. Now, if you're the one collecting this data, what might you ask? So this is the person right here. Their wealth is between 100,000 and 250,000. I guess that's how much they make a year. I don't know. They graduated spring 1969. All this information right here. Phi Gamma Delta, Phi Gamma Delta. So what seems odd about that? What seems odd about that? Yeah, and it's the same one, right? Why does it repeat? This person has more than one right there. Maybe they switched. Some people, like there's that person we just found. Well, the one person is Signu. If you look, there's people in here. Like these are the answers people could give. And one person is Phi Gamma Delta, Phi Gamma Delta, Phi Gamma Delta, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma. What does this mean? Like you're a fourth generation legacy? Why is it? Is there an error in this? Like what's the deal with this? What's the deal with that, right? I don't know. I don't understand what the deal is with it. So I'm going to talk about integrity issues. It seems weird to me that the data has people reporting multiple instances for one individual. Like you're either in Phi Gamma Delta or you're not. Why would you report Phi Gamma Delta, Phi Gamma Delta, Phi Gamma Delta? Well, it's just one option. We just go to someone right here. This is how the data would be collected. And we say, hi, what is your gender code? What's your current zip code? And we just talk to someone and we collect this info. At the very end of the survey, or we did it at other spots, at the very end of the survey and say, and what Greek life were you in? Yeah, but the thing is the multiple answers right here, this is one person reporting multiple things, like saying, we went to them and this is a person's answer. Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma. I can actually go and find this person. Let's go find them real quick right here. You ready? The code's going to be alumni. We'll go which alumni Greek equals this. That's the person. Let's go take their row, alumni, this row, and there we go. So this is the person right here who reported, and actually, you know what's going to be easier is if I take that individual and turn them into a data frame. There they are, data frame, store into, run code. Okay, so here is the person. They are a male. They don't have an email address. Good to see you here, Sydney. Thank you, Sydney. If you have any questions, let me know. We're about to end, but let me know. They were electrical engineering. Once again, this is real data. Thank you once again. This is awesome. We get to do this kind of stuff. We're missing a lot of information on different things, but when you go all the way here to the end, at the very end of the data set, they reported Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma. So I don't know why they're reporting Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma. I hate that it does it because it's the last variable. But that's what they reported for their Greek life. This is one individual reporting Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma. And you're like, what? What does that mean? So it's not that multiple people reported it. It's just that one person gave that because the levels are the answers people gave. So this individual right here, a male from this area code, UTK, gave that answer right there. A lot of missingness also in their data. So it's a little bit odd. We don't, in electrical engineering, they just don't have extra degrees. Grad date, 1950, January 20th, 1950. So that's a long time ago. So I wonder why. Yeah, so that's the response someone gave was UTK Kappa Sigma, UTK Kappa Sigma, UTK Kappa Sigma, UTK Kappa Sigma. So I'd say it doesn't make sense that somebody's reporting a Greek life affiliation. That's what they report. This is this individual. Where if you look at the bigger data set, you can see most of the time people, when they report their Greek life affiliation, a lot of times the Greek life affiliation is reported like UTK lambda chi alpha, UTK phi sigma, kappa alpha. See how it's just usually like a Greek affiliation? But there are some people, like the individual we just saw, who's reporting the same thing like 3 times. Like, that's what they said to us. That's what's in the recorded data. So that doesn't really make sense. Like, are they just in Kappa Sigma? Were they like in it for years? What does that mean? So that's what we call an integrity issue, where the data just doesn't make sense. Data doesn't make sense. Well, that's got it. Thank you, everyone, for swinging by. About to teach class here in 14 minutes. Is it 3:20? I think it's 3:20, right? No, it's 4:74. It's the afternoon, 4:74. Well, until then, we'll be back here next time. Bye for now, everyone. Bye. I thought I was playing this outro.